Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. My name is Daffa Aldisya, and today I'm going to present my mind map about human memory. What is memory? Memory is the process that are used to acquire, store, retain, and later retrieve information. Human could take, keep, and recall the information or experience through memory. Memory divided into three stages. They are encoding, storage, and retrieval. The first stage is encoding. Encoding is the process of receiving, processing, and combining information. It is when memory accumulates all the information from surrounding and encodes it in human's brain. The information we take from the surrounding is processed in three different forms. They are visual, acoustic, and semantic. The second stage is storage. Storage is the creation of permanent record of the encoded information, and it is when memory maintains all the information received from over periods of time. The third stage is retrieval. Retrieval is the process of calling back the stored information from the memory storage. Or in example, retrieval is when memory retrieving information out from human memory storage. Aside from its stages, memory also have three different types. They are sensory memory, short-term memory, and long-term memory. The first type is sensory memory. Sensory memory is type of memory that allow humans to remember the sensory information after the stimulation has ended. Typically, your sensory only holds on to information for brief periods. Remembering the sensation of a person's touch or a sound you heard and passing in is sensory memory. Sensory memory also divided into three types. They are iconic memory, echoic memory, and haptic memory. Iconic memory, also known as visual sensory memory. Iconic memory involves a very brief image. This type of sensory memory typically lasts for about 1/4 to half of a second. The next is echoic memory. Echoic memory, also known as auditory memory. Echoic memory involves a very brief memory of sound, a bit like an echo. This type of sensory memory can last for up to 3 to 4 seconds. And last is haptic memory, also known as tactile memory. Haptic involves the very brief memory of a touch. This type of sensory memory lasts for approximately 2 seconds. The next type of memory is short-term memory. Short-term memory is the memory that allows humans to recall specific information about anything for a brief period of time. Short-term memory isn't as fleeting as sensory memory, but it's also not as long as long-term memory. Primary or active memory is another name for short-term memory. We can keep information in our short-term memory by rehearsing the information. The last type of memory is long-term memory. Long-term memory is the type of memory that allows a human to hold the information for periods of time longer than a few seconds. Any memory we can still recall after 30 seconds could classify as long-term memory. There is no limit to how much our long-term memory can hold and for how long. Long-term memory divided into two types. The first type is explicit long-term memory. Explicit long-term memory is the memory that form and recall consciously and deliberately. Explicit long-term memory stores information such as phone number or the birthday of our best friend. It frequently includes significant events such as childhood events, graduation dates, or academic work. The next type of long-term memory is implicit long-term memory. Implicit long-term memory are formed unconsciously and can have an impact on how a person thinks and acts. When learning motor skills like walking or riding a bike, implicit memory often comes into play. If you learn to ride a bike at the age of 10 and only pick it up again at the age of 20, implicit memory will help you remember how to ride it. Therefore, memory have important roles for human. The important roles of memory for humans are to keep the information in human brains and to recall the information from the past. I think that's all from me. Thank you very much for your attention.